Welcome to this Spotlight on the Mediterranean conference entitled Uniting Our Efforts for the Future, organised jointly by the European Territorial Cooperation MED programme and the EMPI Cross-Border Cooperation Mediterranean Sea Basin programme, together with the Cyprus Presidency of the European Union.
Of course, we have to show that there is an advantage in cooperation. But I think we don't have to go around making speeches and conferences like, hey, it's very advantage, very good. We just have to show results. And that's the purpose of programs and of projects. To elaborate projects that have a really tangible result for the population.
So we need more capacity building for such NGOs and civil society organizations in order to make them more capable of participating in such programs. This is a must. On the other hand, we have now a very pressing problem. As my colleague Ahmed from Jordan said, the question of job creation is, if you speak to any minister in any meeting right now, he said, don't tell me about anything. Does that create jobs? Jobs is the issue.
I think that the most important thing, there is no magic stick to create employment. I think that that minister that said, does it create employment? No, so I don't like it. Well, education creates employment in 20 years. Everybody knows that. So with the short-term view of this kind, we are not going very far. The most important thing is the transfer of the knowledge that is needed to make societies and economies work in a proper basis for the future. Employment will only be created when there will conditions in the different societies to develop the activities that will create employment.
It takes two to tango, so I need inclusiveness, which I don't see. We can come back to more tangible things, but generically it is inclusiveness, not cohesion only.
But unless you have a common understanding of what are the problems and what are the priorities that we have to face, we cannot have common solutions. This is the problem of appropriation. This was the methodology that I was experimenting with the Baltic Sea strategy and the Danube strategy. I'm not saying that we have to have here a similar approach, but the methodology and the implication of the civil society I have understood, of the different actors. Yeah. What is interesting in the macro-regional strategies is that there is no new money, no new institutions, no new regulations. We work on what exists, but we try to work what exists better.
Should it be possible that maybe we think about a distinctive priority within the programs that exist today to be able to give us the possibility to think through with all these actors into what would be this type of macro-region we want, in what would be this type of key priority projects we want in terms of the ecology of the Mediterranean, depollution, or in terms of the economic blue growth that we may need in this Nostra Mare, or in terms actually of activities that would bring about economic development in the longer term. Not to revolutionise the world, we will continue doing the business we're doing, which is nice, projects and program-based, but do we want to reflect and really take stock of the urgency we're living in today and try to capitalize what we have already done through a period of time that will give us the opportunity to bring together those partners and associate ourselves into defining the needs and the priorities, associating obviously all those like regions or civil society, experts, universities, projects that already are in place to this future, which is not business as usual.
So in the last session, we discussed the key trends, the key challenges, the interdependency, as it was put, the interrelated, the common challenges. In this session, we want to discuss what has been achieved to date, what lessons have we learned, and what are the implications for future cooperation.
Ces deux programmes, NPCBC et le programme MED, sont un peu les seuls aujourd'hui qui préservent une certaine unité du bassin méditerranéen, une unité administrativo-politique et stratégique, avec très peu de moyens, comme l'a rappelé Palma Andrés. On est quand même dans une période difficile, où on revient tant au sein de l'Union européenne dans un certain bilatéralisme des relations entre la Commission et certains États membres.
Les efforts de coordination devront tout de même tenir compte des caractéristiques de chaque programme. Les acteurs et territoires impliqués, les objectifs stratégiques et les résultats à atteindre peuvent être similaires, mais ils sont quelquefois bien différents. Mais pourquoi, je dirais, n'est pas envisagé un forum d'échange permanent soutenu par les institutions communautaires et étendu à d'autres initiatives, à d'autres acteurs clés de la coopération comme l'Union pour la Méditerranée?
Alors bien sûr, on essaiera entre MED et IEVP de travailler beaucoup plus fortement dans les prochains mois, dans les prochaines années. C'est un début ici avec ce séminaire conjoint. Mais l'idéal dans une meilleure articulation entre les programmes est en lien direct avec un deuxième point que je voulais évoquer, celui des macro-régions.
Okay, there are several comments and highlighting quotes. For example, Philippe's quote when he pointed out that we should also highlight what has been wrong, what we haven't done, because that's a good way to start. That they highlighting that. Also, they highlighted Mariadina's part that we should start from results. Innovation as a key element for the future of both programs, and there were some questions and suggestions. For both programs, should they work more together?
I think it's high time now to come up with all the bilateral, the regional, the global, the FP7, Erasmus, all the instruments that are available, all the projects that are being implemented, all the tools available even for multilaterals and under the bilateral with every country, and try to leverage cooperation between all these instruments. I think that's something that the EU should work on, trying to come up with this matrix, sectorial and geographic, and get the people working together.
Okay.
Now to come back on the synergies, yes, and more between, for example, FP7 and our colleague from DG Regional. I mean, on the structural funds, we are working on the synergies for the new period 2014-2020. We are working, actively, in terms of, flat rates, date of beginning of project, very concrete stuff. There will be guides, of course, available, and we are working on simplifications on all our tendering procedures. So
we've all talked about more joined-up thinking, more coordination, more cooperation. If you had to identify one priority to ensure we get the coordination, the better coordination that will deliver even greater impact for these programs in the next programming period, what would your priority be?
Je pense, comme je l'ai déjà dit, que la chose la plus importante pour le moment, d'essayer de changer le logiciel des programmes et d'avoir une approche différenciée en fonction des résultats qu'on veut obtenir et des cibles de partenaires, de porteurs de projets que l'on a.
Merci beaucoup. Colombe.
I would say innovation. I think that has been said, by my colleague from DG Regional this morning, but that's very important. But I will also add synergies, because now also, due to the size of the project and the complexity, the crisis, all that kind, we have to have different funding opportunities for the project in order to be successful.
Okay, so differentiated but consistent is what you're saying. Philippe, your priority?
C'est simple, plus grande coopération entre les deux programmes en 2014-2020 et davantage encore d'innovation dans les modalités de mise en œuvre et de fonctionnement.
Well, welcome all to this third session, Where Do We Want to Go? This third session of the day, where we're going to deal with a series of topics, of thematic challenges for the area, for the Mediterranean.
Do not restrict sectors. Leave it demand-driven. We look at a cross-cutting part of any activity. So we're looking at the cheese industry. Let's capacity build the cheese industry and cooperate in it. So we provide technology, management, everything to the cheese industry itself. It does not work. What we're focusing on now is the complete supply chain. So we're starting from animal husbandry, milk production, transport and logistics, including cooling, then going into the manufacturing, which is the classical thing we used to do, then ending up with transport and logistics again, and retailing. So this is a simple example. We finished the study covering all these sectors as a supply chain, and what we will focus on is the whole chain, not just one cross-cutting thing. And this way we can really capacity build regions where they become specialized in something. When you go to Champagne, they're producing champagne, but it's not the champagne only. They produce everything related to it, including the brand.
We can only go through this process of economic integration with regional initiatives, and it's true that there is just a reduction globally of regional initiatives, and we won't reach this economic integration if we don't do a major push for new and more important, more ambitious regional initiatives, whatever they are.
I would say that more cooperation is needed between business, industry, government, regional authorities, local authorities. This is not one-dimensional. The cooperation of all the parties is necessary in order to achieve the target and goals of the CO2 emissions reduction. For each megawatt of photovoltaic installed, we create 4 new jobs. For 1 megawatt of wind, we create 3. For 1 megawatt of biomass, we create 3, and one only for 1 megawatt of conventional plant. And especially for energy efficiency, we speak about energy renovations. We create 17 new jobs for every square meter that is being renovated.
The new development in the Eastern Mediterranean is the discovery of natural gas. First in Egypt, second in Israel, and now in Cyprus. The importance of this in relation to climate change is that natural gas can be installed and utilized very quickly, relatively easy, with relatively little investment, and makes a major impact on the reduction of emissions. In other words, it's a major mitigation tool which should be considered.
Pour la Méditerranée maintenant, la Méditerranée c'est la mer la plus vulnérable de toutes les mers. Pourquoi? Parce qu'au cours des temps géologiques, c'est la seule mer qui a connu un assèchement total. Il y a 5 millions d'années, la mer a été asséchée totalement et ça a resté peut-être une centaine d'années. C'est dû uniquement aux conditions climatiques.
So it's important for the whole Mediterranean region that countries do not go down the path of looking inward and rejecting a foreign presence. And migration for education, training and short-term employment possibilities has a major role to play, and that, I think, is the answer that I would give to the question.